Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. The Knicks outlast the Milwaukee Bucks 129, 123, 122. Um, so my first note was kind of the RJ revenge. Now, RJ Barrett didn't have a good game. Everybody could say that. Everybody could see that. And I'd said that, yeah, people are going to say some stuff about him that that are bad because he did play bad. He deserves the criticism because sometimes he wasn't given effort. Sometimes he just wasn't. The ball wasn't rolling for him into the basket, but he was just missing floaters. He was short on his floaters. But today, RJ Barrett he was playing in the flow of the game. Sometimes he wasn't. On the last play where he ran into like where he ran right into Middleton or Brook or Giannis or, or Portis. I don't know. He ran right into somebody. You kind of know it. Got an offensive foul. But I mean, RJ can score in many different ways. I know he might not be the most athletic player. He might not be the most fast player, but he uses his body and he knows how to use his body. But some days he just needs to use his athleticism. But today he can get right downhill and decelerate and get to the basket because decelerating is something that not a lot of people can guard in this league, especially Chris Middleton, whose knees are. I mean, no disrespect, he's still putting great numbers up, Chris Middleton, but his knees are really not there compared to earlier in his career, and you can just attack that right there and he just knew it going in. I had a bad game yesterday, but today I'm gonna go in there with a different kind of level of competitiveness, with a different kind of level of just different kind of level of just effort and just locked in, just knowing who to guard, knowing what to do. And I think him guarding Damian Lillard was one of the best games I've seen him play against the guard. He was just there, and he was his long arms. He has that gifted to him. He can slide his feet defensively. Yes, the effort wasn't there. Yes, like 2 days ago, but he can slide his feet, and he has shown that he can be that defensive player. He showed that tonight. I mean, today against the Milwaukee Bucks and against Damian Lillard. So he was guarding Dame over the screens. He was fighting over the screens, even though Thibodeau will run his drop coverage, which I hate. But um, he still defended well. He was going over some screens, switching some screens, scramps, like a lot of stuff he was doing that was right and fundamental basketball when it came to just defending the pick and roll. And I was one of my things that I was just mad about from the last game was just the Knicks not being able to guard Dame pick and roll, which was usually Grimes or Dante on him, and they switched up with RJ on him, put a bigger body, pestered him. You know, it's a bigger body, so Dame was a little bit like pressured, and it kind of hindered his game a little bit. Still at like 30, still at 30, but he worked for it, and you gotta give RJ credit where credit is due. When RJ Barrett's knocking down shots, as I said, this team is a different team. He was hitting some wide open threes. Even the wide open threes he sometimes just didn't make last game against the Bucks where we lost. We dropped the game 130, 111. He didn't hit the shots that he hit today. And it's like those are wide open shots that, like, if you can't hit them, then you can't play. And the Knicks are just way different when they have somebody who they can go to, who is a 3 level threat in RJ Barrett. Yes, I know Brunson Reynolds that, but you also need another 3 level threat, and that could be RJ Barrett on some nights. He just hasn't shown that consistently. But today, he was a 3 level threat, shooting the ball, passing the ball, just creating pressure, rim pressure, just defensively, just great. Um, the first quarter, it was great defense, and it was right out it was just punching them first, kind of giving the first blow as to analogy to boxing, just punching somebody first, win the first round, and that kind of controlled the whole entire game. And I'm really proud of this team for controlling the game because the Bucks are a hard team to control. I mean, with Mike Budenholzer, we can go down the list of why Adrian Griffin. I hate Adrian Griffin. Um, but he's probably a nice person. Merry Christmas. I don't want to really hate on him because it's Christmas. But happy holidays. But we're gonna have to we're gonna have to get down to why the Knicks were scoring a lot. Now I'll come later. Um, Giannis' second free throw took 17 seconds. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't care. But again, Giannis is better when he doesn't think about it. Like when he can take 5, 6 seconds and shoot the ball up. from free throw. He's way better at that, but he just takes so much time and just he's thinking about it, thinking about it. He's like, oh, I'm a bad free throw shooter, and she usually misses. But when the games that he's shooting free throws better, I mean, this is not my kind of question to answer because I'm not a Bucks fan. But he has some games where when he goes to the line a lot, he can shoot the free throw very well. Um, but I mean, Bucks fans, I think that he's better when he takes less time, and I think that's a mental thing. For some players, you need to take more time. For some players, you need to take less. But for Giannis, it's better for him mentally to take less time and to not think about it. I mean, he still has to think about it, take a dribble, take a breath, but still, just got to get up there. And RJ played within the game. Sometimes he didn't, which wasn't that good, but you could see growth in that. Just knowing to playing within the game, and we can give Todd some credit, some quality minutes. I know he was a backside out for Giannis. I closed my eyes, so it's not that's not gonna happen. You don't expect a guy 38 years old, something like that. I'm not gonna search it up, but something like that. Just to guard Giannis and backside help. That's not gonna happen. But what he did do is he gave us quality minutes, try to stop Bobby Portis, who's a bench player, big bench scorer, had a off game compared to last game for Bobby Portis. I'm not gonna say he completely stopped Bobby Portis, but iHeart got into maybe a little bit of foul trouble. He didn't get in that much, but then you put in Taj, and then you saved iHeart some minutes because I don't think he's ready to play the full 48. Because I mean iHeart's iHeart's usually a bench center, and he's used to that, but he's going to get himself more winded to be a starting center. I mean that's big. I told you um, basketball cardio is different than actual cardio. Like basketball, running up and down and playing basketball is different than, just regular running up and down. Um, and he needs to be ready to do that as a starting center. Yes, bench center he can do that, but starting center he needs to learn how to do that. He's growing throughout every single game, knowing what he needs to do, what he doesn't need to do, and the fouls that are very valuable for him not to pick up, like reaching down, just learning how to do that. He's getting better every single day. I'm talking about iHeart. Randall, I said locking down Giannis. He didn't lock down Giannis again. He probably had 30, but just making everything hard. Like he was making Giannis think a lot and just rushed a lot of shots and just bodying up to him. I mean, if you're gonna beat me, you're gonna beat me with your strength, which we can go strength and strength with Giannis and Randall. Yes, Giannis may be a little bit stronger because he has the height and also he's just stronger. But Randall, he can have a fight there with the strength aspect, and he's gonna go right at him. I know agility. Yes, Giannis has that. He'll just be agile and just go right around you. But if Julius can stop that like he did today, it's gonna be strength versus strength, and that gives Julius a better chance to stop Giannis and just agile. We're gonna beat you downhill. If you're gonna post me up, yes, you'll have a better chance of stopping you. But if you're gonna go downhill head of steam and you can switch directions, Julius Randle's probably gonna get cooked. But today he stopped that, and it was strength versus strength battle in the post. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. Hopefully I'm not just yapping. But Knicks physical. Yes, you would be like, oh, the Bucks are just a physical team. Well, they're not really that physical team anymore. Still, they have Bobby Portis, who's a physical guy. Brooke Lopez, I mean, physical guy. Giannis, of course, we can all talk about him being a physical guy. Just going out for his team, even though he's a superstar. He's really like one of those superstars who'll just go out for your team. That's why Bucks fans love him. I mean, of course, he's very good at basketball. That's why you love him. But because he just goes out for the team and he's the heart of the city. Um, that's why. But the Knicks, physical, physically, they punched him in the mouth first, and that's the Knicks. Every single coach, when they talk about the Knicks before the game, is like physical. How many times they say physical? A lot, and that's what you get from a Tom Thibodeau led team. That just hasn't happened this year, not that much, but in this game, when we really needed it to be physical, this was the game where we showed up. We don't want the Bucks to be smooth and silk, because if they be smooth and silk, then they have Dame and Giannis. So talent wise, they're gonna dominate you. But if the Knicks can be way more physical, it's gonna give the Bucks some problems. Yes, they'll take a game if we play a 7-game series. Yes, I mean some games Giannis will be just there to pick up every single loose ball because he's just that guy. When it comes to just diving on the floor, he does it. He does it all for his team. I don't think how many times I'm going to say this, because a lot of superstars get that kind of thing where they're like, okay, I'm not going to dive for this loose ball. No, Giannis dives for that loose ball. And that's why the whole city of Milwaukee loves him. And I said, of course, the whole city of Milwaukee's going to love him because, you know, he's amazing at basketball, but also he gets on the floor. He's the heart of the team. Him and Bobby Portis are the heart of that team. And yeah, that's why we love Jalen Brunson. He'll take these charges where like he'll take these charges from like Giannis that like you wouldn't think he would take. Yes, we love him because he's good at basketball and he's one of the best point guards we've ever had. But it also comes to the tax with it also comes with that he takes these charges that really amp up the team. Um, that usually stars slash superstars wouldn't take. I'm not gonna argue star superstar here. We're not gonna do that. Um, quickly playing 8 minutes in the first half. I was taking 8 minutes, 7 points. But I was sad. He always talks about the game will tell you what to do, and the game told him what to do. He told him that Josh Hart's playing aggressive. Maybe we'll give him the edge in minutes. Yes, quickly played great at 20. He knows quickly will always be ready. So we got to get other players ready, like Josh Hart. We won't really know if he'll get ready. I know he's making that much money. And you're like, okay, Josh Hart, you got to get ready. But sometimes it's like Josh Hart's like, yeah, but we got to get him ready. We got to get him engaged. We know quickly he's going to get engaged right from the start, but we just got to get other people engaged. That's what they was kind of saying here. I told Adrian Griffin this. If I were to tell Adrian Griffin one thing, it'd be get out of drop coverage because that doesn't work. And you'll run to these guards that will just feast on drop coverage, like a Trey Young, like a Jalen Brunson as today, like a Ja, maybe not Ja. Ja will eat up the space though. Ja will eat up the space and we'll go downhill. But I don't. Again, Ja going downhill against Brook. I don't work on Ja because Ja's going to go downhill with Brook Lopez unless there's a big defensive mistake. Then he'll go right downhill on Brook Lopez, and that probably won't end well for Ja. But sometimes get those Ja posters, get those Ja almost posters. But just those guards and like the East guards in the West that are very good. You just cannot run that drop coverage on. You have to switch. Maybe you'll show some drop coverage, 1 or 2 or 3 possessions, but then you got to make it. You got to make an adjustment. And Adrian Griffin has yet to show me that he can make an adjustment. That's the thing. We're playing the Bucks a 7-game series. How much do I trust Adrian Griffin to make an adjustment? I kind of trust Tibbs to do a little bit. Like 40% I trust Tibbs to make an adjustment. But I don't trust Adrian Griffin to make an adjustment at all. Like, at least, like, I'll say Joe Mazzulla is not the best coach, but, like, he'll make an adjustment. I think he will, at least. I have a little bit of trust in him to make an adjustment. But Adrian Griffin, I know he's a rookie coach and all, but this might be his only year in Milwaukee. I mean, run this drop coverage, like, just doesn't work. I know how good Brook Lopez is down the paint, but you got to switch up your coverage. You cannot just let Jalen Brunson just dog you all game long. That's just, you don't want him to do that. And you definitely don't want him to do that because then that gets everybody else involved, and then you run the drop coverage on quickly. Then you run the drop coverage on not Randall, but then you're running the drop coverage on Devo, and it's just you can't run a drop coverage on even DiVincenzo. So it's like you're just gonna give DiVincenzo a wide open three. No, you're not, obviously, but that's what they're gonna do. Grimes, when he made that play off the dribble, I almost cried. Tears of joy. That was beautiful. That kind of like made me so happy because it was like he came in the game, stay ready. He just got in the game, pump fake, dribble, bye. Like you're gonna close out hard. Goodbye. I'm gonna get to the paint. I'm gonna finish. So that made me happy there. Um, Aggressive Josh Hart, we need that every single game. Not every single game. Some games like the game tells you what to do, as Tibbs said. Today was a game where like we need Josh Hart scoring today. We need all hands on deck, and that's what the Knicks got tonight. Was today was all hands on deck, and that's what we needed Josh Hart to be aggressive. And that's not what we pay Josh Hart to do. But again, you're on this team. You're gonna have to play aggressive against this Bucks team because we need all hands on deck offensively, especially with Mitch out because our defense takes a hit. We need all hands on deck offensively, and sometimes we don't get that. And Josh Hart's not aggressive, and then that's kind of the L for us, and that didn't happen today. Not starting with either Giannis or Dame on the floor for the fourth quarter is kind of a crime. Adrian Griffin, I mean that's awful. That's completely awful. Hopefully your family has a great Christmas, but just I'm sorry that I'm saying this on Christmas, but it's completely awful. You did put Damon for your credit. You did put Damon, but they were, or Dame or Giannis. I kind of forgot. I think it was Giannis in, but the Knicks were up by 14 at that point. It was 2 minutes in, but the Knicks, that 2 minutes was big. I mean, you're trusting Chris Middleton to create this offense. Chris Middleton's great. I'll talk about Chris Middleton for a long time, how good Chris Middleton is, but having him out there, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, Pat Connaughton, like Andre Jackson as your five, it just that will not help you at all, like at all, against this Knicks team that is way better at staggering minutes because Thibodeau's a better coach than Adrian Griffin. I think that's obvious. Um, um, yeah, that's just. I mean, again, you could make the argument for Adrian Griffin and be like, okay, he's a rookie coach. He'll make the adjustment soon, and yeah. But I just want to see the adjustment. But I'm not saying that he's gonna fire completely. No, he's not gonna get fired. But if he can make that adjustment where you can get either Giannis or Dame, and I know Dame wants to play the first and the third quarter, so get Giannis in as quick as possible in that fourth quarter. Don't let the game go to 14. I know it's only 2 minutes. You can say, go to the reporter, say, I'd bring him in with 2 minutes. But those 2 minutes were big because the Knicks went up 14, and that was kind of it. The momentum was to New York, and you couldn't really come back. But that's kind of all. I hit everything on this game. We can go to the stats here of this game. We can go to the stats. But I 20 points for quickly RJ. You know, just the regulars who should have 20 points. But again, I said we needed all hands on deck today. 32 points and 24 for Middleton. Middleton's great, but I just cannot see him lead a lineup in the start of the fourth quarter when you're down 10. Like, I just don't understand that. But you got Barrett 21, Reyno 24, Ihart 11, and he's great in what he does. 38 points for Brunson, 3 for DiVincenzo, but he gave us what he gave us. It was quality minutes. Josh Hart 10, even though 10, but that was a loud 10. He was getting downhill, quitting. Wait, whoa. I mean, okay, I was looking weirdly at this score. So quickly at 20, in 22 minutes, re-sign him. But that's for another day, and also re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein. But that's for another video. But Taj Gibson again, he'll show 0 points in 15 minutes. You'll be like, oh, Taj Gibson, you're like we're gonna show you in the freaking Hall of Shame. But no, he had 15 minutes, and those 15 minutes were very quality. Didn't need him to blow up the box score at all. All we needed to do was just score, and I mean not score. All we need to do is just rebound and set some hard screens. One of the best screeners I've ever seen with my own eyes as a Knick. Just set those screens. Quickly came off those screens beautifully. Jalen Brunson came off those screens beautifully. Just great screen setter, and you don't really lose that screen setter ability from iHeart to Taj Gibson, which is big. Quentin Grimes 2 points, had that good layup at the end, but that's kind of it. We'll get a little bit into the next game against the Thunder, which I will not doing, which I will not be doing a post game on because of I'll be somewhere else. Yeah. I'll be somewhere. I'll be on vacation for 2 days. Not that big of a deal. I'll be back for the Magic game. You're gonna have to battle Chet down low, and it's gonna have to be Taj Gibson and Isaiah Hartenstein, all hands on deck down there. If we need to bring out the other guy from the G League, which I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. If they can all battle down low, we need him. We need all hands on deck, kind of for the centers there to stop Chet, because Chet is an all-star, even though he won't be an all-star. But I feel like saying all-star, you don't need to be an all-star because there's not a lot of spots for an all-star. But I could say Scotty Barnes, if he doesn't make the all-star team, I could say he's an all-star. I could have said Jalen Brunson was an all-star last year, even though he didn't make the all-star team. If you get my role, gonna have to show Shea different looks on the pick and roll. That's my biggest thing here because you could throw a drop to Shea once, but you're gonna have to switch another pick and roll. You're not gonna you can't give him a steady diet of just dropping on the pick and roll. You have to give him switches to the hedge, trying to blitz the I would say not let Taj Gibson kind of switch on the defender. I'd blitz that, obviously. But the Knicks didn't blitz that today, which they could have got hurt on that one. where Damian Lillard was against Taj. But you're gonna have to blitz that in the future because Dame's gonna really like realize that because in the heat of the moment, he's gonna realize who he's getting guarded by. And as much as we credit Taj Gibson, I mean on an island with Damian Lillard, I don't think he can do that anymore. I don't think he can, but we'll see. Um, Gonna have to guard Isaiah Joe, one of my guys I have down there in my notes. 41% from three. That's all I'm gonna say. This man could shoot the skin off the ball, and he's somebody that you're gonna have to close out to. And I know Thibodeau teams just don't close out the 3-point shooters, but again, this is a different thing. We have to close out. We have to close out to Isaiah Joe because if we don't, he's gonna give us freaking 30 points. I'm ready for to sit down and watch Isaiah Joe give us 20 on perfect from three because that's what he'll do if you don't close out to him. And yes, we look at Shea, we look at Giddy. I mean, we look at Shea, Giddy, Chet, and we're like, okay, those guys are your stars, but Giddy's not a star. But you look at those guys; are the top of the food chain. Jalen Williams, but also you have someone like Isaiah Joe, who's not at the top of the food chain, but can give you 20 if you leave him at the 3-point line. But also play physical. This is a young team. If you can punch them in the mouth first, it's different than Milwaukee. You'll definitely get the upper hand because it's a younger team than Milwaukee. I mean, they have Dame, they have Giannis, they kind of know what to do. But again, it still worked punching the Milwaukee Bucks in the mouth first, but it kind of took them off balance, but they still were able to get on balance. They still only lost by 7. But you're really gonna blow this team out if you really bring the physicality out we bring today. And it's gonna have to be an every game thing. Not every game thing. I mean, if we see the Detroit Pistons on the schedule, we see the Wizards on the schedule. Yes, you can go smooth as silk, but um, you're gonna have to play physical against these great teams. And the Thunder are a great team. You have to get physical, how to get down in defensive stance. iHeart can't get in foul trouble. I have to say this every single day, every single time. iHeart has to remember that he's a starting center. He's not that backup center anymore. Your minutes are very, very Your minutes are very, very needed. Because I know as good as Taj Gibson is, I don't want him to play that many minutes. Like 17's fine if we need him to, but I'm gonna have Taj Gibson not get in foul trouble. I'm gonna have to have iHeart not get in foul trouble. Lou Dort and Brunson is one of the things I'm ready to see. If Brunson can I know Brunson, whoever's getting guarded by, he's gonna cook. But Lou Dort's a pretty good defender. Just a lot of clips on YouTube. Go search him up. Lou Dort lockdown defense clips. Yeah, that man's a monster. You put him up with this wing monsters like Herb Jones, like um KCP. You put him up with those type of wing monsters who will just defend the heck out of you. And I mean, if I can think of another one, Caruso. He's not really that wing of a player. He's not really that big of a wing, but he can guard big players. But those wing players like Derek White, like Jalen Brown, those kind of defensive monsters on the wings. You put them up. You put Lou Dort up with them, and hey, pick your poison, Lou Dort or Herb Jones. It's kind of the same player. Herb Jones is a little bit better. He has a little bit more potential, in my opinion. Lou Dort's still pretty young, but look, that's my whole point of just you're gonna have to protect the ball against him because that guy thrives off of turning you over, and he's gonna thrive off of turning you over. Um, Gotta take advantage of the bench because Giddy might be out. He has like a hurt leg. I don't know if he does at all, but he's game time decision. If he is out, you're gonna have to take advantage of the bench because you have a shooting guard step in. Our bench is gonna have to be great in the game because you're playing a bench against those Thunder players who probably aren't the best, so we're gonna have to take that advantage. I don't know how good the Thunder bench is. I'm not gonna go search it up. But if a bench shooting guards have to step in, I mean, we're looking this as knowledge. Like just use your brain. You're gonna know that that the bench will be kind of thinner if Giddy's out. So because Giddy's usually the starting shooting guard, starting small forward, but so you just think, okay, the bench could be thinner, obviously. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of all I want to say about these two games, and that's gonna do it. Have a nice day, and let's go next. Peace out. Merry Christmas.